What's up, you guys? Welcome back again to your Heroclix headquarters. Today, we're going to take a look at all the rares from Disney Plus Next Phase. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Starting us off at number 31A, we have another Baby Groot. So a rare shifting focus. Looks like he's in his PJs. And he just has the Guardians of the Galaxy, Ravagers, Cosmic Detective, and Pirate keywords. So I think Detective is new. I don't think he had that on the common version. He does, of course, have the Guardians of the Galaxy team ability, so his stats can't be modified by opposing effects. And he has a trait that opposing characters within 4 squares in line of fire can't use stealth. So that is pretty nice to just knock out stealth within a wide area like that. Of course, he has the Shifting Focus Groot effect, so he can swap to all the other Shifting Focus Groots. He does have improved targeting for hindering, which he does need for his trait to work, pretty much, because it needs to be within 4 in line of fire. But he doesn't have any actual range himself, although he does also have Outwit, so he can outwit things that are stealthy as well, which is really nice. And otherwise, he just has a special movement power that gives him Sidestep, Force Blast as free, but only to target a character that moved since your last turn. And Baby Groot can knock back characters larger than himself, so that is nice since he's tiny sized, which means he can also be carried as well, so you can carry him up and he can outwit their defense power, and if they've moved since your last turn, you can free Force Blast them, hopefully dealing them some knockback damage. And yeah, just knocking out stealth is pretty cool as well. So again, I really like these Baby Groots. I think even the common one was pretty great, as like a carryable and power is always good. Because he was like a carryable and power, that's always nice to have. And the rare one's pretty neat too. He serves a certain purpose, and I think he does a great job of it. Up next, we have 31B, Iwua, from the same episode, I believe, as that Baby Groot rare. And he has some very interesting effects since he is a prime. First of all, he just has the Cosmic and Monster keywords, the Power Cosmic, or I guess Cosmic Energies team ability, trait that says free, choose an opposing character within 4 squares. Iwua can use the powers that character can use until your next turn, and you replace that character's name with Iwua's name in its copied powers, which means if it copies a special power, it will be able to use it basically. So it's really neat that it can copy things that aren't just standard powers. If they have some type of special, like off the top of my head, Carnage Silver Surfer has his special hypersonic speed power, where if he hits, he can make another range attack after resolutions. So, he could do something like that maybe, but he does only have a 2 range. So that might not actually work out too well. If you're halving your range, it'd be 1, and then don't think he could make a range attack at that point without any improved targeting anyway. So yeah, maybe not the greatest example there, but there's some really cool special powers you could steal and make some interesting use out of. But it really just depends on what your opponent is playing. Like, for instance, if they're just playing a bunch of people with just standard powers or just traits, and they don't have any really interesting special powers, there's nothing super amazing or valuable that he's going to be able to copy. He does just have 2 range double target, like I said, stealth, 11 attack, precision strike, 18 defense, and 2 damage with a special power that gives him shape change, and when Iwua uses it, after resolutions, you may place him up to 2 squares away from his current square. So that's pretty nice. It does give him a rollout, and he can place himself on your opponent's turn, which is always pretty interesting. Being able to place yourself in a better position, maybe in hindering, so you're in stealth, or behind a wall or something like that, so you're covered. A lot of interesting uses for that. Now, he's also only 40 points, so, that's not too bad. I feel like, though, as far as primes go, this one being so heavily dependent on what your opponent may or may not be playing. And a lot of times when you're playing a prime, your whole team is kind of built around that prime, or it's, serves a really huge purpose in your strategy. So the fact that it's very hit or miss depending on what your opponent's playing, you have no idea what powers he may or may not have at any given game, at any given time. So, it's really up in the air. He really might be super good one game and do absolutely nothing the next. So yeah, he's pretty hit or miss depending on all those different factors and everything. So for that reason, I just feel like it's safer to play other primes. But for fun games, he could be a lot of fun and lead to some very interesting interactions, I'm sure. But up next here, we have Maya Lopez, aka Echo, the rare version this time. And taking a look at her card, she does have team player, team ability, so she's a wild card. She has Magia, Assassin, and Martial Artist keywords. Her first trait says free, choose a standard attack power an adjacent opposing character can use. Maya Lopez can use that power until you choose again. So she can steal attack powers, kinda, and borrow them. That's pretty neat. But again, that's dependent on what your opponent is playing. Like, for instance, I used her in Sealed, and pretty much everybody had Quake and like super strength or blades or something, and nothing super crazy that was really worth taking. I think Precision Strike was the best thing I managed to take with her in a Sealed game, but you could probably find a few other decent ones, maybe like Pulse Wave or something. That'd be pretty cool. Get a surprise Pulse Wave off on everybody. But yeah, then you have Charge, Sidestep, and Stealth on her. Movement power is really good. 11 attack, Quake, 18 combat reflexes, and then 3 damage with a special damage power that gives her Close Combat Expert, and when she attacks one or more characters that can use Blades, Claws, Fangs, or has the Marksman keyword, modify her attack by +1. So that's pretty good. The Marksman keyword's brand new, so it's not super common, but Blades, Claws, Fangs is usually pretty common across most sets, especially with all the X of Swords equipment. There's a lot of random characters that could have Blades, Claws, Fangs. So that's pretty interesting. And just the Close Combat Expert, she's hitting 12 for 4. Not too bad for 60 points. Charge, Sidestep gives her a lot of reach, and Stealth and Combat Reflex is great protection. And yeah, she's really interesting because she can take an attack power. She can also copy a team ability. So yeah, she's a pretty interesting and pretty good close combat attacker. Moving on next, though, we have the Red Dagger from Miss Marvel. Pretty cool sculpt on this guy. He's got Cosmic, Martial Artist, Spy, and Warrior keywords. He has traded Stealth and lines of fire drawn to Red Dagger or adjacent friendly characters that cross the rim of elevated terrain are hindered. So that's really neat. It adds like a different type of stealth for him and adjacent friendlies. Very nice. And then Sidestep and Red Dagger can't be targeted by opposing characters unless they're adjacent to him. And then at the beginning of your turn, you may deal Red Dagger 1 unavoidable damage. So that's really cool. I love to see those types of characters. The last one we saw like that was Martian Manhunter in the Batman team-up set. Always interesting to see those types of characters that can't be targeted at all on their first click, and you can choose to just give them an unavoidable damage to, unlock like some extra powers or something. So starting off, he just has Blades, Super Senses, and Perplex. And honestly, I would just sit on that Sidestep and can't be targeted by characters unless they're adjacent effect, because his special attack power is just Blades, Claws, Fangs, and Giant Reach of 3, which, although that does give him a little more reach than the Sidestep, I don't know. I mean, it does also have an 11 attack with Exploit weakness, but you're losing your Perplex. So there's definitely some give and take there for sure. So yeah, for 50 points, he's not too bad. He's just another very interesting close attacker. So moving right along, next up we have Donnie Blaze, not to be confused with Johnny Blaze, Ghost Rider. This guy is just a stage magician that got his hands on a sling ring from Doctor Strange, so he can make some portals. So yeah, he's got celebrity and mystical keywords. Mystic's team ability is pretty nice. But he's got a very interesting trait that says at the beginning of the game, generate a portal marker 5 squares away from any map edge. At the beginning of your turn, you may generate a number 9 demon on click number 1, adjacent to the portal marker. If you do, roll a d6 on a 1 through 3. The generated demon is friendly to an opponent's force and is not scored when KO'd this game. On a 4, generate another demon on click number 1, adjacent to the portal marker. Then remove the portal marker from the game. On 5 or 6, no effect. So basically, he can pop out a demon, adjacent to that portal marker, and there's like a 50% chance that it just becomes friendly to your opponent's force right away. Or on exactly a 4, you get a second demon, and then the portal marker just goes away forever, and then you got 2 free demons. Or on a 5 or 6, no effect. So, you know, yeah, you just get that 1 demon pretty much, and you can potentially generate another one. So that's pretty interesting. It really depends. If you can roll high enough, he can be popping out demons every turn, which is pretty nuts. Even if you manage to just roll a 4, you get 2 demons right away. And then, yeah, he's just got some like smoke cloud, barrier, and shape change. 5 clicks of health, though, for 45 points. And although he does have a special movement power that gives him phase teleport and sidestep, and free, place Donnie Blaze or an adjacent friendly character up to 4 squares away from their current square. If you do, an opponent may then place that character up to 1 square away from their new current square. So that's pretty cool. He can kind of like free TK people, and then your opponent gets to choose to put them into another square, like slightly less good positioning. But that's still pretty cool. Even if they send him back a square, it's still like a 3 square free TK, which I will take for sure. And yeah, he's got, you know, phasing and sidestep to place himself around, and he can barrier and stuff. Yeah, pretty interesting, this guy, actually. For just a stage magician with a stolen sling ring for 45 points, this guy's doing a lot. Generating demons, free TK that's not TK, you know, smoke cloud barrier, shape change, sidestep, mystics. He's got a lot going on. He's unique for a reason, that's for sure. I think he's actually pretty great for the points. You know, we took a look at those demons back in the commons. They're just like little 15-point dudes with like flurry and shape change or something, with like 3 clicks of health. And then they had like a beginning of turn trait where they could deal a damage to an adjacent opposing character. So that was pretty cool too. If you just swarm a bunch of demons on somebody, you know, if he's just pumping them out every turn, they can just run up there, you know, get a bunch of free damage, flurry, and your opponent just kind of has to hit them or do something about them. You know, they're definitely a little too dangerous to just ignore them. So yeah, I think Donnie Blaze actually is really cool and does have some potential in my opinion. But up next we have Hawkeye, or in this case, Clint Barton, in his awesome new, you know, suit from the show. Gotta love it. And then taking a look at his card, he does have the Avengers Initiative team ability, so he's going to be able to see through hindering terrain. He's got Avengers, Marksman, Shield, and Martial Artist keywords. Trait, Coin Trick, free, make a range attack using Incapacitate. Very cool. I like that a lot. He's got 6 range triple target, so every turn he can potentially triple target Incap for free. That's nuts. He's only 75 points, you know, running shot, 11 attack with 2 damage, range combat expert, so he's a 12 for 3, 18 energy shield. Not bad at all. On his special attack power, he has Precision Strike, and Clint Barton modifies attack and damage +1 when attacking 1 or more equipped characters. Gotta love it. You know, equipped characters are all over the place now, so pretty easy to get that extra +1 attack and damage. That means on his own, he can be a 13 for 4 against equipped characters with Precision Strike. And don't forget that Precision Strike and Range Combat Expert and even the +1 attack, at least, will all come into play as well with the traded free Incapacitate. Plus, he can see through hindering too, so very cool. Oh, and he's got improved targeting characters. Let's not forget about that, so he can shoot past other characters. Yeah, that's pretty great, I gotta say. I mean, even if this guy just gets carried up or something, you know, even if he's double tokened, whatever, he's free triple target incapping with at least a 12 to 13 attack every turn. That's crazy. Through hindering, through characters, all that. That's nuts. I think this Clint Barton is actually super duper good. I think he definitely has a lot of potential in sealed, a lot of potential in pulp. Even for just regular competitive games, he has some potential, I think. Although I admit it would have been nice if he had a little bit more going on with his defense, like maybe some super senses or willpower, toughness, something a little more than just regular ESD. Just because there's so many really strong close attackers right now, it's pretty easy for somebody to just run up and punch him. But he does have a pretty decent 6 clicks of health, so at least he can take, you know, 1 good punch. So yeah, he's not like super crazy overpowered, but I think between making actual attacks and free incapping every turn, triple target, he's got a lot of potential for sure. But up next, we have another one of my favorite characters here, Moon Knight. The rare Moon Knight in this set is amazing. I think he could have easily been a super rare, and, you know, nobody would have thought any lesser of him. So taking a look at his card here, he has Cosmic Energy and Mystics, pretty much the two best team abilities in the game. He's got Deity, Herald, Mystical, Scientist, Soldier, and Warrior keywords. He's got a trait that gives him free Heal Him 1 click, so he's healing 1 click every single turn, if need be. And then on top of that, he's got free choose an opposing character that damaged a friendly character since your last turn. Place Moon Knight such that he can make a close attack targeting the chosen character, then do so. So he's got retaliation. Anytime a friendly character gets damaged, including himself, because, you know, you're always friendly to yourself, he can just, you know, pop over there or make a free close attack, which is pretty nice because even though he has running shot to start with, he does have 12 attack and 4 damage with precision strike and exploit weakness, so that retaliation will be penetrating, and the precision strike will be nice with the running shot or with the retaliation. And yeah, he's got improved movement for characters, which is great, so he'll never get caught up with people. Improved targeting for hindering, so he can be shooting people in stealth and everything. Really, really good. And then 19 defense with toughness. You know, he has 200 points, so admittedly, I would have liked to see some, like, invulnerability maybe on the first couple of clicks. But, you know, 19 defense is pretty great. And he's got 3 stop clicks with, it's just stop and super senses. So, you know, not too bad at all. And then you've got a special damage power he gets later with Battle Fury and Exploit Weakness. So he's pretty much got nearly a full dial of Exploit, except for a few random clicks of Perplex in there. He's got some Battle Fury, a lot of super senses, some combat reflexes in the middle, a lot of really high attack values and damage values. Yeah, he's just really high stats. He's always got some form of move and attack, you know, between running shot, charge, or hypersonic. And he just looks like he's a really fun dial. And, you know, I got destroyed by this guy in Sealed, so he's really, really strong in Sealed. He's pretty much an automatic play. If you pull this guy, you have to play him in Sealed. Unless you pull, like, some other ridiculous chase that's, like, a little bit better than him, you definitely got to play this guy for sure. Although the cool thing is, usually if you pull this guy, there's a chance you could get, like, the special Moon Knight booster that also has, you know, Khonshu. Or in our case, a friend of mine pulled this, and in his other booster, he pulled the Tawarit chase. So, you know, I've heard of that happening before at other places. So a lot of times people pull this with a god, one of the Egyptian gods, and then they just get to add their avatar effect onto him for free because he's a herald, so he can get stealth and prob from Khonshu, or outwit and support from Tawarit, which even just outwit is really nice. And even if you somehow get an Amit, then yeah, he's got freaking Steel Energy and Poison, which is also really good for him. So this dude's just nuts. Definitely one of the best characters to put that avatar effect on. And you know, we love to see these 200-point characters with like the triple stop clicks and the like 11-click dials. You know, we've seen it before with the play-at-home kit Ghost Rider, the super rare Spider-Man, the super rare Hulk, and the super rare Iron Man. But anyway, I just really love to see these big, awesome 200-point fanboy characters. And this Moon Knight does not disappoint. He is also super awesome. But next up here, we have another fan favorite, another one of my favorites. We've got Kingpin, the same one from the Daredevil Netflix show, reprising his role in Hawkeye and also just recently in Echo. You love to see it. He's the best Kingpin we've ever had. And I'm just so glad we have him in Heroclix form. So, of course, he has Underworld team ability, so he can carry his little minions around. You've got Magia, Assassin, Brute, Martial Artist, Politician, and Ruler keywords. I am the ill intent. Straight out of the Daredevil show, man. Willpower, opposing characters within 4 squares can't use willpower. That's pretty freaking strong, if you ask me. There's so many strong willpower effects right now. I mean, look at Kong. He can use willpower twice a turn, and he's giant size, so it's 3 through 6. So it's really strong to just knock out everybody's willpower like that. And then he's got Invincible, Mastermind, Protected Outwit, but only from characters of a lower point value. So if you're playing him at 90, he's Protected Outwit from a lot of stuff. Probably your opponent's whole team. And yeah, even just regular Invincible Mastermind is such a good defensive combo already anyway. Then he has Leadership and Outwit on his damage power. And that is pretty much all he's got going on. But with a charge, 12 attack, super strength for 4 damage. This guy is just insane for 90 points. He's really bringing the pain there. And for 50 points, he just has charge, 11 attack, super strength with 3 damage. Still got the leadership outwit special, but just has regular mastermind. It would be nice if he had like 1 click of that special defense power at 50 points. I mean, at 50 points, it would just be kind of like the cheaper support characters that wouldn't be able to outwit him anyway. There would still be ways to outwit him pretty easily. So it'd be nice to get at least 1 click of that invincible top dial for 50. But regardless, very cool. And then he gets the Battle Fury later on. So cool. Very, very reminiscent of the Netflix Kingpin for sure. And then we have the Prime. So very cool that we got another Prime Kingpin. It feels like we just got one. I mean, it was only a few sets ago in Spider-Man Beyond Amazing, but they do serve very different purposes, honestly. The one we just got in Spider-Man Beyond Amazing was like a 90-point ridiculous beat stick. It just had like 11 clicks. You know, he was just really high attack and damage, super strength charge. You know, he was like the raging, I'm gonna beat you with my bare hands Kingpin. But this one is really more of the crime boss Kingpin. So he does again have underworld team ability to carry his goons around. He's got Magia, Assassin, Brute, Martial Artist, Politician, and Ruler keywords. And then his first trait says friendly characters of 30 points or less can use Toughness and modify attack and damage +1. So all of his little goons getting Toughness and +1 attack and damage is crazy. You really just want to put this guy on a team with as many 30-point and under characters as possible, which there are so many good ones right now. I mean, off the top of my head, you got Two Gun Kid at 20 points. You've got the Earth X Daredevil on the motorcycle for 10 to 30 points. There's a lot of crazy stuff. All these goons for like 15 points. And he just gives them all +1 attack and damage map wide. It's pretty crazy. And then on his movement power, you have Stealth, Power, choose up to 2 friendly standard characters of 30 points or less within 6 squares, and move those characters up to 2 squares each, and then they may each make an attack. That's crazy. So he's just takes a power action, and 2 of your characters can basically sidestep and make an attack on his action, and then they can still go take their own action to attack again. And don't forget, he's giving them all +1 attack and damage for all of that, so that is nuts. And then he has a special defense power that gives him Mastermind, Toughness, and Kingpin's other powers have Protected Outwit. So everything else with Protected Outwit, they have to first outwit his defense power, and then they can outwit his other powers, which is really neat because they have to burn at least 2 outwits on him if they wanted to outwit something else. And then he just also has leadership and outwit on his damage power, like the regular rare version, which is fine. That's just a fine combo for him. 55 points, not bad at all. I would have liked him to have been maybe just like a flat 50 points, would have been nice, but that's not really a big deal at all. This dude is super cool. I think, like I said, just him on a team of a ton of cheap characters is crazy. Because, I mean, if your entire team besides him is 30 points and less, he's giving all of them +1 attack and damage and toughness. So, yeah, just a lot of crazy synergy with this dude and, like, a big swarm team of cheap characters. I think he has a lot of potential. He's probably not winning worlds or anything, but he's gonna steal some wins for sure. But moving on, next up, we have She-Hulk. And she was, like, misprinted, it looks like, because I've pulled, like, 3 of her, and they all have an uncommon rarity tab on the dial. But the card does show her as a rare, and of course her numbers do place her here right in the middle of the rares. So yeah, she's got the Avengers Initiative team ability, so she can see through hindering terrain. She's got Abominstay, Avengers, Brute, and Celebrity keywords, coming in at 60 points. Got that Abominstay trait we've seen before, so free, remove an action token from her, and if you do, give an action token to a friendly character with the Abominstay keyword within 4 squares to help move her tokens around if you're playing another Abominstay character. Then she's got this really awesome power that I love. My favorite thing about this figure, Objection, which is just outwit. And then once per turn, when an opposing character within 4 squares is given a free action, She-Hulk may immediately roll a d6. On a 3 through 6, that action resolves with no effect. So that's really awesome, and it surprisingly comes up a lot more than you might think it does, because if somebody charges in on you, well, they're given a close action as free, so then you could object to that close action, and then they're just sitting there. They don't get to attack or anything. They're just stuck right there next to you. And then she can, maybe she already sidestepped to pick up an object. She could outwit their defense and smack them for like 5 damage with a piece of terrain or something. So yeah, pretty great. But having that Avengers Initiative team ability is also nice for her outwit to see through hindering and outwit, stealthy characters. Also, with the super strength, she could throw an object, so you can get a surprise attack from range as well. And again, that would ignore any hindering bonuses or stealth or anything because of her team ability. So yeah, I had a lot of fun with her though in Sealed, objecting to all kinds of things, objecting to other outwits, objecting to perplexes, any free action. You could object to a sidestep. There's literally so many things. If they're within 4, you could object to a running shot too. There's unlimited options there. Anything that's free, pretty much. Pretty good odds, like 2 out of 3 odds that you get that. So love to see it. Very, very fun She-Hulk for sure. All right, but moving right along, next up we have another one of my favorite rares here, Madison. Of course, with 2 N's and 1 Y, but it's not where you think. So I love to see this in Heroclix, all these crazy characters from these shows. And she translates very well into Heroclix. So she's got a Underworld team ability, so she can actually carry people around that share a keyword. Celebrity and Mystical are her only keywords, but they are very good. She's only 20 points. She is unique, so you're only going to play one of her. But her trait, Wongers, gives her shape change, and once per game, when she would take damage, you may instead place her adjacent to a friendly character with a mystical keyword, and if you do, turn Madison to click number 3, and if that character is named Wong, you may turn her to click number 1 instead. So, very cool. She can kind of like once per game get out of being KO'd is pretty much what I would save that for. Just let her take a hit if it's only like 1 or 2 damage, and then when she would be dealt damage again and would be KO'd, then you can kind of save her. So that's great. And she does have some willpower to take her tokens off. And then she has at the beginning of your turn, you roll a d6. On a 1, an opponent places her up to 1 square away, and on a 2 through 6, you can move her up to 2 squares. So it's kind of like a beginning of turn sidestep, but there's like a 1 in 6 chance your opponent gets to move her a square in the wrong direction. She only has like a 4 movement, so it can really suck if you roll that 1. And also, this doesn't say you may, it just says at the beginning of your turn, roll a d6. So you pretty much have to do that. And, there's that chance that your opponent will move her. But otherwise, you're moving her for 2 for free every turn, which is great. And, especially with the Underworld team ability, she can carry somebody with her. But then her special damage power gives her Perplex, and she may use it a second time each turn if she's adjacent to a friendly character with the mystical keyword. So, obviously, that's amazing. 20 points for a double Perplex, essentially. You got 2 Perplexes. There's definitely a reason she's unique. That is so cheap for 2 Perplexes. I remember back in the day when people would play any type of like 20 to 25 point character just because it had Perplex. It could do almost nothing else, just have Perplex. Be like 20, 25 points, 30 points maybe even. People would play that for sure. 20 points for 2 Perplexes. Plus, she's got shape change to kind of protect herself. Plus, she's moving for free every turn. She can carry somebody around. And, she has like a once per game save herself trait as well. It's just nuts. Although I did find out the hard way that trait is not protected Pulse Wave. So do keep that in mind. If she takes damage from Pulse Wave to kill her, there's nothing you can do about that. She's just going to be gone at that point. But still, regardless of that, she's just amazing for 20 points. She definitely has a ton of potential in Sealed, in Pulp, and in regular competitive, like Modern or Silver Age play as well. So definitely keep an eye out for her. 20 points for 2 Perplexes is just super cheap, not to mention everything else she can do. Next up, though, we have another really cool character, Ronin. And of course, that's Hawkeye in his Ronin suit. And, you know, this one is so cool. I think they did such a great job on this one. He's got marksman, shield, assassin, and martial artist keywords. He's got traded sidestep, and when a friendly character is KO'd until the end of your next turn, Ronin can use charge and flurry. So traded sidestep is always nice, and getting that charge flurry is really great. If somebody gets KO'd, you know that sucks, but at least you get something out of it. And then he's got Blades, Claws, Fangs, and Steel Energy, and once per turn, when Ronin KOs a character, after resolutions, he may move up to 2 squares and make a close attack. So that's pretty great. You know, you want to get that KO with him, so you get that extra attack. And that's crazy, too, if they do get to KO something, then he gets Charge Flurry, and then if he KOs something with the Flurry, he can go get a 3rd attack. So it's pretty nuts. You know, 12 attack, 19 combat reflexes with stealth, 3 damage. So yeah, you're pretty much just using the blades probably most of the time anyway. He's got a lot of perplex down the dial there. And then he has a stop click that says free. Replace Ronin with a character named Clint Barton or Hawkeye of equal or less points than Ronin on their last non-KO click. If you do, heal that character 2 clicks. So he has 55 points. It does have to be equal or less, so you can't get like the rare Clint Barton, unfortunately, because he's 75. But you could get the common one, who I believe was only 50. And of course, there's a bunch of Hawkeyes, you know, from recent sets that are also about 50 points or less too. So you can get one of those. Only thing that sucks is he just has, you know, a bare 15 defense on that stop. So if they hit him on that stop, he's pretty easy to finish off. But if they don't finish him off, you can at least get a new, fresh character in there. Well, last click and then heal him too. So not super fresh, but a lot better than 1 click with 15 defense from death. But yeah, I like him a lot. He's really cool. It feels like, you know, the character, you know, he's getting revenge for his fallen comrades with the charge flurry. When he KOs something, he goes and gets another attack. And he does have Steel Energy too, so he can be kind of, you know, take a hit and then heal some of it back. So he's got a good amount of staying potential there as well. Honestly, I think it would be worth it to give him a motorcycle, to just give him charge, plus 2 speed and super senses. You know, the super sense is going to help out a lot, especially on his last click if he hits that stop. And then that charge is going to be great with the sidestep. And, you know, it's nice to just have that anyway. Even if somebody gets KO'd, then he gets the flurry as well. So yeah, I think he's pretty great. I'd probably throw a motorcycle on him to make him even better. But I still like him a lot. Very cool. Anyway, next up here, we have Lucky, the pizza dog. Got a little piece of pizza in his mouth. Gotta love it. He's a bestest boy here. And taking a look at his card, he has marksman, animal, and martial artist keywords. And again, the martial artist keyword, that's not because he himself is a doggy martial artist or anything crazy. He just, it's really just to play around with the other martial artists, because they did say in their Design Insight article that, you know, martial artist was what they always gave to those type of marksman characters. And now that they decided to actually make a marksman keyword, they wanted to kind of just give marksman and martial artists for a few sets so that they could still kind of have some synergy there before they eventually drop the martial artist completely and focus strictly on the marksman keyword for those types of characters. So that's pretty much why he still has that. But anyway, he's got a trait that says at the beginning of the game, generate a pizza object. So you just get a free pizza object to put out there in front of him. And then when a friendly character would use the Trick Arrows equipment, before revealing the card, you may roll a d6. On a 4 through 6, shuffle a friendly used Trick Arrow card into that character's unused Trick Arrow cards and set them face down. So that's not really going to do anything for the first time they use it, but it's definitely going to help for every time after that. That was kind of my biggest complaint about the Trick Arrows, is that you get 3 and then you're done, which, I mean, you know, in a game of Heroclix, if a character gets more than 3 attacks, that's pretty great anyway. Because, you know, it could be unlikely in some games to ever even go more than like 3 turns for them to even get more than 3 attacks. But it is still really nice for those games where they do have a lot of back and forth and you do get a lot of attacks off. Because running out of Trick Arrows does suck, and it's really nice to get that extra reload every once in a while, get one right back to use it again. So yeah, otherwise, he's just 20 points. He's got 4 movement with plasticity, 8 attack, 1 damage. with enhancement, and then 15 defense with a special defense power that gives him super senses and mastermind. And although he does actually have another trait here as well that says opposing characters within 4 squares can't use shape change, which is really, really nice, because if he's on a marksman type team, they're all range attackers. Besides regular outwit, they don't have any battle fury, probably, because that prevents you from making range attacks. So having this guy knock out shape change is really nice. A lot of these types of characters already have precision strike anyway, so it's going to make the super sent shape change combo a lot harder to pull off, thanks to Lucky here, turning off the shape change and their precision strike, you know, giving the -1 to the senses. It's really cool. But then it also says here what the pizza object does. It says a character holding this object has free, destroy this object and heal 1 click. Not too bad. Gives us a free click of healing throughout the game there. Only thing I would say about this figure is he really, really needed to be tiny size. He's regular size, which kind of feels bad in the middle of a game, because if you accidentally put him in front of your range attacker, he's going to block their line of fire somehow. And you know, it'd be really nice to be able to carry him around. You know, him being tiny, if he could be carried for the enhancement by any one of your, you know, marksmen, would be super good. So that would be my only complaint, is that he should have been tiny sized. I believe that the other one we get in the pizza box is also tiny sized, so it would have been really nice if this one was. But still, marksman is one of my favorite up-and-coming keywords. I really like it a lot, and this dude is pretty much a must-have if you're playing a marksman team right now. But up next, we have Jack Russell from Werewolf by Night. And very cool black and white paint job there. Pretty much all the other ones are primes. So, you know, it's kind of nice to get one that isn't a prime. But anyway, he's animal, detective, monster, and mystical keywords. He's got Mystic's team ability, which is nice. And this has already been pointed out a ton of times online. Yes, he has traded support and perplex, as well as on dial, perplex, and support. As on the dial, he does not have support. He does have the perplex on those clicks, but he does not have support on the dial. So definitely a lot of misprints with this guy. Yes, that does suck. And then he has support as free, but only to choose a character with the monster keyword. So yeah, not bad at all. I mean, free support on a monster is nuts. You know, think about King Kong, right? If you could somehow give this guy the Black Lantern keyword, maybe in the upcoming Lantern set we'll get some more entities. Or, you know, if you're playing Golden Age, there's a Black Hand, you can give him a Black Lantern keyword that way. And then you just have free support for monsters, which is really good to heal up all your Black Lanterns past their starting lines. But anyway, yeah, just free support is always nice. Perplex is great. And then unfortunately, he does also have the stop click that is nowhere on his dial, not on his card or his actual physical dial. So again, an unfortunate misprint there. When this click is revealed, you may replace Jack Russell with a character named Werewolf by Night on his last non-KO click. If you do, your opponent scores him immediately and does not score the replacement character this game. Definitely, you know, definitely some opportunities with that character. He needs a lot of erratas to make him playable, really. Anyway, last but not least, we do have one more rare here, Theusa, who was also from the Werewolf by Night movie. And pretty cool black and white sculpt and everything. Gotta love it. And taking a look at their card here, you got Assassin, Mystical, and Warrior keywords. Mystic's team ability, and the target trait. So, of course, at the beginning of the game, for all characters with this trait, you give the target token to an opposing character, and then when a friendly character with the Assassin keyword KOs them, you score an additional 25 victory points. You know, we saw it in Notorious. Great to see it come back again. We saw it on, I think, the Common Yelena. So very cool that is making a comeback for this set. You love to see it. 4 clicks at 30 points with Stealth, Precision Strike, Mastermind, and a special damage power. But looking at the back of the card, first of all, they do have another trait that says, when a friendly character KOs an opposing character with a target token, heal that friendly character 2 clicks, and this game they have Mystics. If the KO'd character had the monster keyword, score 15 victory points. So that's really cool because because to get that, they don't necessarily have to have the assassin keyword. Just any friendly character can KO the target to, heal 2 clicks and get mystics, as well as if you pick your right targets and they have the monster keyword, then you score 15 victory points. And then, if that person happened to have assassin, you'd score the 25 points from the target trait, so you'd score an additional 40 points for that character, which is pretty crazy. So that's really cool, and actually, if you combo that with the Ra's al Ghul that can then add a new target token once, there is none, you could get a lot of extra points that way against, there's so many monsters right now, right? There's so many good monsters. Even if your opponent's not playing a monster theme team, if they're playing Black Lanterns, those are all monsters. If they're playing like a bunch of Carnage or Venom characters, guess what? Those are all monsters. King Kong, monster. Lots and lots of really good monsters right now. Very easy to have a team with a lot of monsters on it. So between this guy and Ra's al Ghul putting a new token on everything, you could potentially be getting an extra 40 points every time you KO a monster. Is pretty crazy. And I think that's really interesting. Plus, then you could be giving a bunch of your characters mystics, a bunch of healing as well. So I think this is a very interesting character to add to assassin teams for sure. But then they also have a damage power that says opposing characters within 3 squares can't use Mastermind, Shape Change, or Stealth. That's really good. I like that a lot. Those are 3 very, very good powers to just say that they can't use when you're within 3 of them. And of course, can't use is going to bypass things like Protected Outwit, Safeguard Outwit, etc. if they're Power Cosmic or whatever. So that is really awesome. And really the only thing that's going to protect them from that is, the super rare Ghost Rider that says you can use your powers regardless of opposing effects saying you can't or whatever. So yeah, really cool. Honestly, a great 30-point character to throw on to like assassin teams in particular, but even just, mystical, warrior, whatever. Very cool. So yeah, overall, I think like most of these rares are pretty great. Of course, we do have the unfortunate Jack Russell there, who it needs like 5 erratas to be playable. But all the other ones, you got a lot of good close attackers, a lot of really cool supports, a lot of really interesting figures. I think the rares so far may be my favorites, but there's a lot of really cool super rares and chases that we'll take a look at in the future videos. So if you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to smash that like button. It does help me out a lot. And don't forget to click that subscribe button so you don't miss any future videos. But if you guys would like to help support the channel even more, don't forget to check the links in the description for the Patreon or hit the join button down there for the YouTube memberships. Either way, for as little as $1 a month, you get entered into my monthly giveaways. And you get to see your name here in the credits with all these other amazing people. So if that interests you, make sure to check that out. But that's going to do it for this one, you guys. Thanks again so much for watching. Till next time, this has been Heroclix Headquarters, signing off.